Hello, leaders. Welcome to our channel, Leader for Life. This is Jason Graziani, and I'm here to tell you a tale about the Graziani, which is really my 2-minute story. I grew up in Southern California. My mom's originally from Inglewood. For those of you that are not from Southern California, Inglewood is not a gated community. I grew up with a family that moved furniture for 3 generations. If you were a male in my family, starting with my grandpa, down to the dad, uncles, all the way down to myself, you moved furniture. If you're a female in my family, you were in the office supporting the guys on the trucks. So I was used to a family business feel. There's some pros and cons with working alongside a family. We had a great time. My parents, though, they divorced when I was 2. They married each other again when I was 4, and they divorced each other again when I was 6. And I tell you that because, well, my dad was an Italian Jewish individual. My mom was a Caucasian lady, German background, Catholic background. And so we were very confused as children. We didn't know our ethnicity. We didn't know where we were from. We didn't even know our religion. That changed a couple times. And we stumbled into a Lutheran church locally. It was a chapel school, and so that we can go to a private school. And that's kind of where I got my faith indoctrinated into me for my belief in God. But my mom raised me as a single mom and did 8 to 5 in the daytime and 6 to 10 at the nighttime. I had 2 younger brothers. I was the oldest of the 3, and my mom was everything to me. She's my hero, and I attribute really Leader for Life to my mom. But my life changed when I was 12. My mom was 37 years old, and she went to a doctor's appointment for a standard medical procedure. And they took a shot, the doctor took a shot and put it in my mom's back prior to a knee surgery. And the challenge was, and I'm not familiar with medical terminology, but the needle that was used had an infection at the end of it. And that infection went into my mom's spinal cord and essentially created a permanent disability for the rest of her life. And so my mom was a healthy, able-bodied, fun lady. And then all of a sudden, boom, I was told, she's never gonna work again. I believe that the brothers were 12, 10, and 7 at the time. And that was a real tough situation for us because we didn't have 401ks, we didn't have savings, we didn't have paid off properties. We had debt or just barely anything to get by. And it was already tough enough with a single mom and 3 boys. But then when she couldn't work anymore, I remember when the state and the federal government used to give us welfare checks and food stamps. And I always say in my presentations that I love the fact that I live in a country that will help you when you're down. You know, the United States is not a perfect country, but I believe it is the best country. And through the philanthropic efforts of many of the Americans that are out there and the tax system and the social services that we had between churches that would volunteer meals to our house and the government assistance, we got by. We made it happen. I wanted to be successful. And I was told a few lies growing up, not malicious lies where people were trying to deceive, but lies that were more people that thought that it was true, but it wasn't true. Let me give you an example. First was hard work pays off. Now, I believe in hard work, and I believe that in many cases it pays off. But if you're talking about in an economic platform like a job and how much money you make, I believe that working hard in certain industries pays off significantly. And I believe that there are many people that'll work hard for the rest of their life and maybe it will never pay off. And so I was looking for a way for my hard work to really pay dividends, and I was looking for what to do. The second lie that I was told was knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. And especially if you come from a family where maybe there isn't a lot of education and maybe college isn't talked about a lot, people just transfer those statements like knowledge is power and they just assume that everybody believes it. But it's really tough for me because I talk to my daughter, and if my daughter can YouTube or Google or look up any information that's taught at any university and get that information for free, the value of the university education seems to be diminishing each and every year, especially when the finished product, which is the graduate, the student, comes out and is looking for employment and finds out that they were told the third lie that I heard, which was get good grades, go to a good school, and get a good job. In order for that statement to be true, you as the audience would have to tell me, what is a good job? I would love for you to message me and let me know this is a good job, because I think that there are vocations, there are things that people do, there are opportunities and people could be happy or sad there. But as far as the job just being good, I don't really understand what that means unless you're notating a good salary or good benefits or something like that. But I never really found that. And so I listened to my mom at the time. I wanted to retire my mom. If any of you guys have ever heard a family member, a loved one, especially under your roof, in your home, crying themselves to sleep, or frustrated, depressed, sad about money, And many times with families, that's really the root of a lot of the issues is money. And for those of you that are going to message and say, well, money doesn't buy happiness, Jason, it's not all about the money. I just want you to understand, I agree. Money doesn't buy happiness. But let me tell you what money does do. Money will remove the overwhelming percentage of the problems that you currently face. Take the last 5 arguments that you had with your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, your difficulties that you had with your parents, your children. And if you put $3 million in your bank account here today, I would venture to say that many of those problems are just gone. Now, maybe that's true for many of us, maybe it's not, but it was for me. And I was looking for a way to end my mom's financial worry, as well as be a good example, a leader for life, to my 2 younger brothers. And so I listened to my mom. I got good grades. I went to the University of Southern California, fight on Trojans for those of you that are in the Trojan family. And I loved it. I went to every football game. I was part of the culture. I wore the shirts. I got excited. And then I realized that I was getting into debt. For every day I was getting excited. And it's not that I'm not a fan of education. Parents, I'm a fan of education. I'm just not the biggest fan of the current education system. And I saw myself go into school. My mom's household income, when I did my financial aid, she made some $12,000 for the year. And so we really didn't have very much at all. And I ended up getting into substantial amount of student loan debt. Now, again, that was my decision. Nobody put a gun to my head. I made that decision to do it. But here I was, a graduate, having to pay back student loans. And I just thought that everybody was going to make money when they came out of college. Call me naive. Maybe I didn't do the research the way I should have. I will admit to that. However, when I started in my first Fortune 500 position, everybody called me successful. Family and friends. Jason's the one. Jason's the golden boy. Oh, he's going to take us to the promised land. For any of you guys listening to me, if you are the first person to go to college in your family, you know what I'm talking about. In fact, when you would go back to Christmas, Thanksgiving, or the holidays and see your family, you were just short of part Jesus. When you came in, your family, your friends, they would say, oh, that's my Jason. That's my daughter. That's my son. Goes to college. Now, to the mothers out there that preach your fans and you preach your children and all the success your children had, good for you. Because I could tell you, if it wasn't for my mom, myself and my brothers wouldn't have put themselves through college. But it was the right advice at the wrong time. Maybe 20, 30, 40 years ago, that is what you should do. Today, I would make a strong argument against it. So here I was, 22, 23 years old, looking for what to do. I lasted about 2 years working for a corporation, and I realized that I'm a winner inside, but I haven't won. And I had a former mentor make a comment that said, there are 3 types of people out there. There are winners who have already won. And if you're a winner who has already won, there's not much that I could do for you, but maybe reinforce ideas and concepts that you already believe. If you're a loser who knows you're a loser, I don't say that with any disrespect. I have compassion, love, and appreciation for everybody that's out there. My fellow brothers and sisters that are out there have a lot of appreciation. However, there are some people that will just continue to make decisions not to win. And then the third type of person is a winner who hasn't yet won. And I believe that was me. When I talk about that, if you get goosebumps, if you get excited, if your knees start shaking, if you start thinking and dreaming big, I want you to know that that might be you. And that was me. And I was looking for mentorship. I was looking for leadership. I was told that I needed to pick an industry, that I needed to pick a platform, that I needed to pick a mentor, and I needed to go to work. I was told that the first 2 years of getting into business for myself, that everything I touched would be wrong, bad, would fall apart. And you want to know something? To my fellow entrepreneurs out there, you probably know that that's true. And it is true. Don't try to skip that process. I was told it would take me 5 years to become an expert on human nature. And unless you've come from a human to human business before where you deal with a lot of people, maybe you could accelerate that curve. But if you're somebody that hasn't dealt with a lot of people, it's going to take you a few years to start understanding certain types of personalities. And then finally, I was told that it would take 10 years to have an established business. And it was true. Early on in my career, I was scared. I was frustrated. I didn't know where to go to. I didn't even like reading books in school. Don't be fooled by all these books behind me. I hated reading books. I'm still not very good at it, but I knew that I could always improve. And that was a saving grace for me. So I was told that you're the average of the 5 people you hang around with, the meetings you attend, and the books that you read. And so if you start working on improving yourself, and by watching this today, you're obviously that type of person that's venturing out there to try to improve yourself, just know I didn't know how to tie a tie. I was nervous to speak in front of lights. I would sweat during speeches like this. I would be dripping in my face if I had a light on me. I was so nervous all the time. But I want you guys to know something, that if I could learn how to do that, you could learn how to do that. I retired my mom. I built a decent business. We're still working and we're still improving, and we are not a finished product here at Leader for Life. But I could tell you, meeting my wife 4 years ago was the most amazing thing that ever took place. And together with my family, my wife, Natalie, it's been an amazing process. And so we hope to continue to provide value to you, to bring value to you. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at real life scenarios in politics, in business, in everyday life, parenting, marriage, all the things that you're really going to go through. And just know there's no perfect answer. There's no perfect coach. There's no perfect video. But if you keep indulging and you keep putting the right things in your mind, you can make a decision to be a leader for life. And I hope you do that. It's great talking to you guys, and I'll see you at the top.